Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm aware my lashes are super long and out of control, but today I'm answering your makeup questions that you sent me over on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok for exclusive stuff happening over there. So I'm gonna be answering probably the most asked, most popular, and just see what that is. I haven't looked at them yet. So should we just get into it? Do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up quickly just now, and comment. If you don't want to comment, just comment algorithm. Okay, let's start with our first question. How do you get makeup? How do you get makeup up to your hairline without getting it in your hair? I have trouble. Listen, dusty. But I'm not gonna go out anywhere. But here's what I do personally. You can start at the hairline and use like a stipple brush like this that has like the finer hairs on top, and literally just pull the hairline back, and you're like placing and shifting up like this a little bit, almost like you're sliding into the hairline. I then find the best thing to do is just to go around with your fingers like this. It's gonna get in the hairline. Grab a wipe, some micellar water afterwards, and just go over the top of it and dry it. That's all you can do really. If you want to get up in your hair, you have to touch your hair. I know it's annoying. Primer for very dry. Oh, for very dry eyelids. So I really like recently, it's in my little drawer here. So you know I myself have very oily eyelids. So I use the Sigma eye primer because it's quite drying on my eyelids. However, recently I use the Maybelline, what's it called? Matte Color Tattoo 24-hour eyeshadow stick. This is a really good eyeshadow stick. It's really long wearing, but it's really soft and feels really smooth on the eyelid. It glides on a lot more gentler and softer and smoother than the Sigma one, which is quite drying. So I would absolutely go for something like this. Or if you can find an eyeshadow stick that is quite soft on your skin and not dry in texture, use that one. Eyeshadow sticks are really good at acting as primers. And you can get ones that are flesh tone, metallic, slightly shimmery, whatever you want. They're really good at lasting all day on the eyelid because they fight against that kind of oil that comes through. So in turn, it's going to help your makeup last longer. However, what I would say is you may have to kind of alter the way you blend your eyeshadow a little bit because it can kind of change it up. When you first start using it, the way you blend, the way you use your eyeshadow might feel a little bit different. Color Theory would love a breakdown on what to buy for which skin tone in general. Let me show you something to invest in, okay? So I got this really cool color fan. This is from Terry Tomlinson. You may have seen her online, on TikTok, on Instagram, her videos where she talks about makeup artistry. The way she explains stuff is perfect. So this is a flesh tone fan, right? Some people ask me sometimes, how do you know your skin tone? And sometimes I'm like, you know what, you just know. And other people are like, look at your veins. Other people are like, do this. Get a flesh tone fan. Let's say for the sake of time, I'm blue violet and I've matched myself to this tone here. It's such a great way to then compare it to something else. Let's say something that's a little bit more yellow. Let me hold my blush up to this, and how does it look against this versus how does it look against this. I love color wheels. I love things like this because it's literally right there in front of you. You can also really train your eye to see these different shades, to see all these different colors. Like there's green, I assume, in this. Yes, green. There's greens here. These are all like your bluey spectrum. And then you go more into like, you know, the purpley reds and this kind of stuff. It's a really great way to be able to look at color, to understand your skin tone and color theory. You can't just look at your own skin and be like, this looks great on me. This is perfect for me. You have to look at everything else in comparison also. And I feel like a color wheel or something like that is really good. This one's from the fleshtonecolorwheel.com. But here's something I like to do, right? If you think about the skin, very simple, right? Yellow and red. Does your skin have more yellow in it? Does it have more of a red to it? If you want to be really simple and really neutral, let's say you have a red undertone, go for lipsticks that are true red and have a bit of blue in it, you know, those kind of things. Same with blush. Keep it really simple. If you have more of a yellow undertone, you go for the red lipsticks that have more of an orange red. Blushes that tend to be more orangey in tone, and you can see the difference between the two. It's like that blood red versus like the orange red, and do that with all colors. That's really simple, but sometimes it's nicer to experiment a little bit more with color. Robert, should I or should I not set my under eye? Nearly 50, love from me next door, hello. Listen, under eye setting is a whole situation. We have this kind of thought in our mind, and I actually think it's quite an old-fashioned thought, and something I learned too when I was doing makeup, that we have to set everything for it to last longer. And it's not necessarily true. Powder can make things appear drier than they are and more textured than they are in general. And sometimes it can make it look smooth, but that's under certain lightings and certain situations. If we're talking every day and you just want to go out into the world, get on with your life, you know, powdering under your eye can be quite problematic. So I always think about creasing under eyes or setting concealer under the eyes starts with hydration. This area here is extremely dry in comparison to the rest of our skin. You might not notice it, it might not be obvious, but it's extremely dry and thin. It's one of the first places on our face that starts to age. This kind of area here, we get like the wrinkles and creases up here, whereas our eyelids, the opposite, is extremely oily but also quite wrinkly. So I always think hydrate under the eye with an eye cream, something that's like a serum eye cream, nothing rich, nothing too heavy. You can use those at night time, but during the day we still want moisture, but we don't want that moisture to be interruptive. So something that's quickly absorbed into the skin, put it on, give it 5 minutes. I always blot with a tissue or a sponge to get rid of any excess moisture. Go on with your concealer around the areas that don't crease as easily first, blend that in, and then add a little bit more where you need to. Don't set with powder. I personally don't like to. Give it a few minutes. If it starts to crease, look down up into your mirror and then press those creases in, then leave it. And I always think it's easier to repair the creasing than it is to prevent it from happening, because it's guaranteed to happen. You know what I mean? If you're out and about and you just have a little bit of your concealer with you, it's so much easier to dab a little bit on top of makeup that has no powder on than it is on top of powder. If you put makeup on top of powder that's congealed, it starts to separate and it starts to be really obvious. I don't like under eye setting at any age, and if you find you get a lot of texture under the eye, I especially don't like powder under the eyes. Hi. Would putting foundation over sunscreen affect the suncream protection? No, there is a reason, and I'm not a skincare expert and I can't remember what it is, but I googled it and you're absolutely fine. Do give it time though. Let the sunscreen become part of your skin. Let it kind of melt into your skin. I always think do all your skincare, including sunscreen, do your brows, do your hair, whatever. Just let your skin do what it needs to do, and then go on top with your foundation. This also goes into another question: when should you apply sunscreen? Sunscreen should always be the last thing you apply before your foundation. Primer goes on before sunscreen. And I know that's like, well, that's not going to help with foundation. For example, like a Power Grip with sunscreen may not be the best mix, but something like a putty primer, which smooths out the pores because it affects the texture of the skin, would be absolutely fine. Does that make sense? Some primers affect the actual texture of the skin. Some primers are made to grip to the product. So the ones that are maybe made to grip to the product aren't the best to use with sunscreen, but we have to use sunscreen, don't we? We do. Is contouring an obligatory thing when you make up? No. Absolutely not. You don't have to contour at all. Contour is there. I think contours become this thing where people are like, you have to contour and this is how you contour this shape face. And contouring is only there if you aren't, let's say, happy with, or you want to accentuate your bone structure. People contour their nose. Let's contour my nose, for example, if this is dark enough. People contour their nose because they slim it down. Some people just like to do it, and that's cool also. So when we do it, we're slimming down our nose. Now, I absolutely didn't have to do this. My makeup looked fine before, but if I want my nose to look slimmer today, then I can absolutely contour. If you want your cheekbones to look sharper today, then you can absolutely contour. Remember, your blush and your bronzer, depending on placement, is also going to give your face structure. So if you put it here, it's going to make your face look a bit more rounded. If you put it up here, it's going to make your face look a little bit sharper and lifted a little bit more. You can add shape and structure to the face without having to contour all the time, because there's a lot of things with contouring, like the shade of a contour, where you place it, that can actually be quite confusing for some people and actually take longer to do than you would just be doing your normal makeup. Every time I curl my eyelashes, my eyeshadow liner comes off and rubs onto the lash curler tips. Yeah, do it before your eye makeup. And I know you're thinking, yeah, but the curl might not last, then there's kind of no point in curling your lashes. But start right from the base and you squeeze the lash. Then you come out very slightly and squeeze again. Then you pull out again, and almost like you're crimping your lash upwards like this. But make sure you open and then move, close, open, then move and close. You want to crimp that lash from the base up all the way. Do all your eye makeup and then go on with a tubing mascara or something like that will hold its shape a little bit more. Otherwise, it's just gonna come off. Yeah. Okay, so those were a few quick fire questions. I hope that helped. My eyes are really hurting, so I need to take off this. Yeah, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok for more things like this if I ask questions or want people to be involved in my videos. I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll see you over there very, very soon. Bye.